We have had a lot of videos and a lot of podcasts this year. And in this episode, we're going to give you the best of what we thought we wanted to talk to you about in 2021. And we hope that by the end of this video, you'll gain clarity for your personal retirement plan and you'll have action items to secure your retirement.
To learn more about securing your retirement and all the different elements you need to know, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when we post a video every Monday. We have helped hundreds of our clients gain clarity and get on the path to a comfortable and happy retirement. Now it's your turn. Let's dive in.
Welcome, everyone, to our wind down. It is the last one of 2021, which is amazing. Episode 137. Can you believe it?
No.
So, but as we have to do this first, though, because we are all sitting here. Oh, by the way, sometimes when we do these wind downs, we've had guests like a client or somebody else that we've had in on these. And then it's usually Merce and Morgan and myself. But today we got two very special guests. We've got Laura, who everyone knows is our beaming, smiling face as you come in the door. So thank you for being here, Laura.
Good to be here. It's my first time, so we'll see how it goes.
And we actually have another very special guest that everybody gets to hear from for the first time, Nick Hymanson. Nick has been on board with us now for a couple of months, and he is working with us as far as helping our clients with financial planning, retirement planning, investment advice, all those good things. So Nick, welcome, and thank you for being with us.
Yes, also good to be on my first podcast.
Yeah, good. So we have to now go to the most important part of a wind down. And the most important part is the wine.
Yes.
So Morgan, can you help us with that?
So we may have done this one already, but it is kind of our go-to here in the office, the La Marca Prosecco. It's an Italian sparkling wine. It's refreshing, crisp, and effervescent. And it is all those things.
Well, good. Well, this is an afternoon wind down. And so we thought we would go light.
Yes.
Light. And we're only going to drink like a couple bottles of this. So this is our last episode. So here's the context of what we wanted to do. We wanted to talk about some of our favorite podcasts throughout the year, maybe recap some of them, take you back. Maybe you've missed some of these and we think they're really important. In fact, I got into doing this and was looking at it and I went, oh, I want to talk about some podcasts that we actually did in 2020, because I think these are just good reminders. Because if you go right now and look at the podcast, you're only going to see, you are going to see 137 episodes. So sometimes it's just hard to go back and say, I want to go listen to 137 episodes. So we're going to try to direct you a little bit. So Morgan,
like 2020 and 2021 have all just been one long
big blur,
year anyway. Yeah. So I feel like that's safe to do.
So Morgan,
mm-hmm.
what would you like to remind us of your podcast memories?
Oh, well, one of my favorites was one of the first ones we actually did in the actual 2021. And it was Andrea Gruen. She's a dietitian and a nutritionist. And a lot of things that I learned from her was some of the foods that you're eating for your physical health are also really good for your brain health and your memory and how you can tie those together. And those were things I wasn't really aware of before. But then she also was sharing with us, because all of us needed to build our immunity in 2021 and 2020. She shared with us some different things that you can do to help build your immunity to stay well.
Did you say what episode number that is?
Oh, that was episode number 35.
Yeah. So Andrea, as you're listening to this, make sure you make a note, because we're going to tell you about some good episodes. So you might want to go back now. You can just go scroll down and go back to that particular episode.
Yeah. Well, and on that episode, I would say because of where we are at the end of the year here, and, everyone's starting to make some goals for 2022. Diet and health is always usually at the top of everyone's list when we approach the new year. And I think that'd be a good one to re-listen to, because I remember she did give a lot of really good tips around, how to think about what you eat and all these different things. So it was very good.
All right. Well, Nick, you're our new guy. Tell us what you've been obviously listening to every episode since you come to know us. So what's your favorite, or not favorite? You don't have to put that on you, but what would you like to say? Hey, point out for us so we can go listen to it.
Well, I would just say one of the first podcast episodes I listened to ever really was episode 80. Should you invest in cryptocurrencies? I think that's huge in the news right now. And it's over the last year, it's been, all over news articles and a lot of different investing websites and articles as well. So it was interesting to hear Raiden and Merce's take on that. And it was also interesting to hear sort of just the risks that go into that, because a lot of people see an article and they don't really know too much about it because it's brand new. And there are a lot of risks in that. And it's good to hear from financial advisors on that topic. So
yeah, Nick, by the way, is a little bit younger. So he is in that generation of people that want to get very, very involved in cryptocurrency. And from our perspective, it's a very hard thing to really gather and how it all works. And in my opinion, when it comes to cryptocurrency, because I have friends that ask me about it all the time. And I pretty much say, if I can't understand it, then I'm not going to buy it. And that's kind of where it's at for me right now. But then you've got like Raiden's son, who's very involved in cryptocurrency and seems to have done pretty well. And you've got these very young kids that have made a lot of money in it. And so it comes down to, in a way, of how much risk you're willing to take and what you're willing to throw away as well.
I know we just had a client come in who is not young. Yeah, well, I hope we will not ever know who we're talking about. What I meant, she's not a kid.
Not a 20-year-old.
Yeah, she's not a 20-year-old. And she said she wanted to move her IRA into crypto, and she was going to move it over. And she had found this place where she could go and invest in IRA in crypto. And it wasn't a very large IRA. It wasn't a large amount of money, but she was interested in saying, hey, I just want to try to give this a shot and see what it looks like. And she said, look, I understand the risk. If I lose this money, it's not going to change my retirement plan. And that's kind of what we said in that episode, is that, hey, you can invest in crypto if you're willing to lose it. You just have to be willing to lose it. And it could go up a lot and it could go down a lot. So I think that was a good episode too. All right, Laura, what about you?
So this is one of the first episodes out in 2021. And it's a little bit of a shameless plug because I was the one that invited her to come onto the podcast. It's the one, episode 39, Learning Art in Retirement with Jennifer Dassel. She has her own podcast, Art Curious. And at the time she was a curator for the NCMA. So I'd been listening to her, and when I found out she was local, I was really hoping that she was going to be able to chat with you all. And it was fun to hear her talk with you too about art. And you guys are not.
We are not art people. At least I'm not art inclined.
So that was obviously amusing for me as an art nerd. And I got to talk with her afterwards too. So that was really, really nice. And then the other one,
can I just say before you go to your next one, I enjoyed that episode too. And one of the things, because of she's the person of contact, whatever you want to call it, curator here in the local art museum here in Raleigh. And it made me want to go there and go check out some stuff. And so that, I think it motivated me, which we did, went over there and checked it out. We should have done that together, Merce. That would have made it even more special.
Well, she does host some events over there sometimes. So.
Well, we know her now, so
we have an inside contact.
We're inside. Yes.
All right. What was your next one, Laura?
So my second one was in May, episode 71, with our friend Dean Ogan from Rocky Top, Grill Like a Chef. And I'm not a really big griller, but there's a part of that episode where he talked about the importance of like the utensils you use. So like having really, really sharp knives and using the correct knife for the correct thing. And I was thinking about the knives I have at home that I cook with. And I was like, it doesn't sound like I'm up to speed. Like I'm not using the right things. They were, oh gosh.
Sorry.
But yeah, so I went home and I bought new knives, and Dean was right. Like it was much more enjoyable to use the correct tools. Yeah. So that was a cool one.
So on that one, because I did like that one too, it was two things he said that I implemented immediately, because I do love to grill. One is, he said a lot of times people do not put enough salt on their beef or their chicken, whatever they're cooking. So I went home and I was going to cook a pork chop actually. And I went down and I salted it like I normally did. And I said, okay, I'm just going to salt this the way he told me. And I went back and I did 2 more layers of salt on it. And it looked like, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not going to be good. It was so good. And so now, like, if you watch me salt something now, you're gonna be like, that is gonna be like, we can't even eat it. But what he said is it kind of cooks off. It's not exactly all gonna be there. And I let it soak in. It is so good. It's so much better to put that salt on there like that. So I really, and if you watch some of the guys that are chefs and you watch them salt, they're like putting a lot of salt on there. The second one was, he said, it should rest
Yeah.
for as long as it was grilled. So if you grill a steak for 10 minutes, it needs to rest 10 minutes. You grill it for 20, it needs to rest 20. And that was something that was a very hard concept of me because I like to eat my steak really hot. And he said, no, it would be still better. And so I started doing that. Guess what?
He was right.
He was right.
Yeah, it turns out the chef is right. Actually, that's like a little point of contention in my house because if I'm grilling, I will say it's going to be ready in about 10 minutes. And usually I'm off. So the grill time is usually maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes. And by then everyone's hungry. And then I pull it off. And then I say, well, Dean said we have to rest it for about as long as we grill it. And so I say, we got to rest it now. And then that's where I start to get in a little bit of trouble because everyone wants to eat and I'm already behind on schedule. But it does make all the difference in the world. That's why I stick to it.
All right. I want to talk about a couple of our ones that have been popular that I think are beneficial and some of the ones we got the most feedback. So, and this is just a reminder, if you're listening and you've not had a chance to do these, Merce and I, in the beginning of doing the podcast, episode 26, we did an introduction to annuities. And as we started it, we thought, man, we could talk, this would take 3 hours. And we didn't want to have a 3-hour podcast. So what we decided to do is to break it up into sections. And so I'm going to give these to you. And if you make a note of them, or if you go back and start at 26, you can just scroll and you'll see the next one, part 2, part 3, part 4. But it's episodes 26, 30, 34, 38, 42, 46, 50, and 54. Okay, so it's 8 episodes. So it just takes you all the way through. And we've had individuals call us up and say, I understand annuities now, because we broke it down into little segments and we didn't overwhelm. You can listen to one and then you can go back and listen to it again. And so it's almost like one of those things now. If we have somebody come in and they ask us questions, it's like, go check these episodes out, because these are the episodes you need to listen to and understand. And I just want to remind people that it's there because we did it in the beginning and I don't want to do them again. So I just rather send you back because it was a lot of work for us to go through those. Another one that was really popular was number 17 with Ron Heath, which was reverse mortgages. A lot of people have questions about those. And I think that's really important for you to think about. Number 19 with Bill Sherman, which was about buy and hold, because Merce, if you know, and you listen to our podcast, we talk about why we do not do buy and hold, why we are active managers. Merce, you got any that you want to remind people of?
Yeah, I do. Actually, well, 2 of my favorites were actually wind downs themselves. The last wind down that we did was episode 129, and it was relatively recent. But the reason I bring it up is because it had such a good flow to it. We actually brought in a client of ours, a friend of ours, and we name him in the episode. So his name's Al McCleary. And we talk through CCRCs. So there is a big episode that we do, episode number 23, that we talk through the concept of what a CCRC. By the way, that's a continuous care retirement community. We brought in a lady in the local area that works for one of them, and she explained how they work, what you need to be thinking about, and how important they are as we kind of get to this next stage of our life in retirement. And so for the wind down, we brought in Al McCleary, who we have been working very closely with to help him make that decision, to help him think through the financial side of it. But he took us through the whole story, the roller coaster of emotions, from the idea of leaving your house and moving into a CCRC and everything that comes with it, and all the things that you got to think about. So it was really a good episode from the aspect of we got a client's real life perspective on this transition. So I thought that one was really powerful.
I agree. I also had that one written down, and it wasn't so much about the CCRC that stood out to me. It was his conversation around starting the conversation. So whether it be with your parents, your kid, your spouse, whoever, just start those conversations now, so that when it comes to that time and getting on wait lists and things of that nature, like when it comes to that time, you already know what everybody's wish is and you know how to carry things out. So I felt like that one for me was most impactful.
I got 2 more I'll mention. Number 97, which was on Social Security. Social Security is so much of a thing of people trying to figure out. We had a nice guest on that talked about different things. There were a couple really good tips rather. And then number 86 on life insurance. I think that's a really big one. We did 2 episodes with Chess Griffin, who's an estate planning attorney. He was actually our very first guest, and he did a very, very nice understanding of the estate planning process, as well as on episode 109, special needs trusts. So if you're listening, you got a lot of homework right now. to go through. But any closing remarks, anything before we conclude here that you want to mention before we go? Anybody?
I've got something to add. I think, when we listen to Morgan's favorite episode, notice it's not about finances at all. Laura's favorite episode, not about finances at all. While we are financial advisors and we're a wealth management firm, when we set out and we started this podcast well over a year ago, it was, we don't want to be that typical advisor that's talking about all these boring topics. While yes, we do talk about them, we really want to kind of, make it so that we're thinking about all the other things, all the fun things that do come with retirement and all that. And so I only imagine, and I would love to hear from listeners too, as to what their favorite episodes have been. And I bet they kind of fall in the same category. Maybe it's around the grilling, or maybe it's around the art, or whatever it is. The lifestyle side of retirement we see so important. And that's why we have that whole segment of this podcast. And honestly, they're a lot of fun for us too, because we get to talk to people, experts in different areas. We've done Pilates, we've done movement, and we've talked to chiropractors, we've done pickleball. We talked to someone about playing what was the card game? Bridge, right? So all these things that keep you active and healthy in retirement too, that's just as important as the money.
I think we're also taking wine recommendations as well. Let's add to that list.
We would love to hear from you all about some wines that we can drink during wind down.
Well, thank you very much, Nick. Thank you, Laura, Merce, Morgan. We have had a great 2021. We hope it will be a better 2022. So as we wind down our year, we look forward to talking to you. If you'd like to talk to us, you can go to our website, pomwealth.net. Go to the blog page. There's tons of articles there. Top right-hand corner, you can click on a button that you can schedule a 15-minute complimentary phone conversation with myself or Merce. Calendar comes up. You can schedule it right there. So take advantage of that on any question you might have. But thank you all. Everyone have a great end of the year. We'll talk to you next year.
We hope this video has given you some confidence and clarity as you plan for a worry-free life in retirement. But what else do you need? We have created a complimentary video course called 3 Keys to Secure Your Retirement. This video walks you through step by step what you need to do to get ready for retirement. You can also check out our podcast called Secure Your Retirement. You can subscribe below.
For more retirement tips, watch this video. Create your retirement income plan. Also, click here to subscribe to our podcast, Secure Your Retirement. If you like this video, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends.